This manga is seriously hilarious, and the spicy scenes are off the charts. Draws the human body incredibly well. You just have to see it to believe it. The main guy, Jiang Zhahan, is gorgeous and top of his class. Growing up, he was basically every parent's dream kid. A big French door fridge and a nice insulated tumbler. And he's always been searching for the perfect guy who matches his type. That's when fate decided to shake things up one night, change everything. Jiang went out with friends and got absolutely wrecked after one drink. Next thing he knows, he's getting cozy with some random guy. See, the only person Jihan thought knew he was into guys. His regular hookup, Xu Zhenrong. So drunk brain just assumed the guy in front of him was Zhenrong. Then he opened his eyes, and oh hell no. The guy was Wen Xixi, the notoriously creepy shot in from their college. The next day, Xixi showed up camped outside Jihan's classroom door, basically radiating hearts and rainbows at him. Jiahan was speechless. He'd already told him it was a mistake. Why was this guy so obsessed? Ah, total creep. Just then, Zhenrong strolled over to Jihan's side. Hey babe, good morning. You're looking fine as ever today. Saihan immediately grabbed him. This is all your fault. Weren't you supposed to look out for me? Zhenrong scratched his head. Saihan rubbed his forehead and pointed toward the door. There was Xixi lurking in the doorway giving off serious creeper vibes. Shooting Zhenrong a look I could kill. Jiahan threw up his hands and said, Last night I mixed him up with you and kissed him. That's it. Zhenrong heard that and instantly got jealous. You said I was the only one for you. Saihan quickly slapped a hand over his mouth. It was a mistake, okay? He's been following me around all morning. Zhenrong patted his head to calm him down. Then turned around, and Xixi was just standing right there next to him. Zhenrong freaked out and jumped straight on. Saihan stared at Xixi, totally clueless about what was after. Xixi gave this big dopey smile. Hey, I'm Xixi. You remember me, right? Here, this milk is for you. I noticed you drink it every morning, but you didn't have any today. So I went and got you some. After handing the milk to Jiahan, Xixi happily shuffled back to his seat. Then he lay face down on his desk, sneaking glances. Saihan was sweating bullets. What on earth does this weirdo want? Ever since Jiahan found out that the homebody was actually loaded, like French door fridge and fancy thermos loading, he completely lost his cool. He'd even zoned out during group projects. Jiahan was stressing over an assignment when Xixi quietly called out to him from behind. Hey, I looked this up before. You want it? Looks like you could use it. Jiahan reached out and took the USB drive, muttering a quick thanks. Xixi instantly lit up, practically over the moon. Jiahan, hey, if you ever need anything, just let me know. I got you. Jiahan looked at that dopey lousy expression on his face. He called this guy a creepy shot and stalker, said some really harsh stuff. And this guy just acted like nothing happened. Weird. On top of that, ever since Jiahan got a taste of what she was working with, he couldn't stop thinking about that French door fridge of his. Well, made up an excuse and slipped out of the class. Great, he was already catching feelings for Shisaya. Meanwhile, Zhenrong was at home polishing his thermos when someone unexpectedly knocked on the door. The second he opened it, Jiahan threw himself at him. Jiahan being this willing for once made Zhenrong absolutely thrilled. But in the middle of it, Xixi's face randomly popped into Jiahan's head. He could only ask Zhenrong to just hold him. He had no idea why thinking about Xixi made him feel so off. The next day, Jiahan rushed to find his professor to switch classes, only to be told the deadline to change had already passed. Jiahan thumped his head in defeat. Lately he'd been dreaming about that homebody every single night. Different outfits, different poses every time. Every morning he'd wake up praying he wouldn't run into him again. But that French door fridge just wouldn't leave his mind. If he kept this up, he was going to meet a serious reality check. Just then, Xixi walked over with a huge grin and waved at him. Gotta say, this Korean wife really knows how to draw. The homebody is way too hot and adorable. He's got me absolutely losing it. And our little Wen is finally about to get some action. I'm so hyped. Jiahan, considering how open-minded he is, just go for it already. Jiahan's jaw nearly hit the floor when he saw Xixi had clipped his bag strap on today. Nope. One more look and he'd be done for. Jiahan spun around and bolted, but the more he ran, the harder Xixi chased. There was no escape. Zhang was just too exhausted to keep running, so he stopped to catch his breath. And Xixi thought even Jiahan, winded from running, looked adorable. Jiahan, you thirsty? I picked up some banana milk. Jiahan fanned himself and said, keep it for yourself. Clearly, Zhuheng had no idea how irresistible he was to see it. Just one glance and Xixi's heart was pounding out of his chest. He told himself, hold it together. Don't make Jiahan hate you. But his body had other ideas. Jiahan tilted his head, wondering what was going on. Xixi just kept apologizing, swearing he didn't mean to look. Jiahan suddenly broke into a relieved smile. So this guy wasn't any different from himself after all. He watched Xixi's flustered face and sighed to himself. The boldness in his dreams really was nothing like real life. If you wanted to stop having those dreams every night, couldn't they just figure it out together? Jiahan reached out and took Xixi's hand. Come with me. Jiahan asked him. You want to figure this out with me, right? I'm in. Xixi's heart was racing, but I don't even know what I'm getting into. I've never done this before. Jiahan started getting nervous too. Just follow my lead. I'll walk you through it. But the next second, Jiahan was left completely speechless. Xixi actually went ahead and opened it up. Double doors plus a thermos cup. I don't even need to explain how big a deal that is. Jiahan is absolutely speechless. Sure, Zhenrong is impressive too, but Xixi is clearly a cut above. I'm losing my mind. Jiahan is just gorgeous. Who could possibly resist falling for him? Xixi steps closer, cheeks red, calling out Jiahan's name. Once again, the artist is absolutely chilling. Our little Wen finally gets a win, and I have to say the way the artist drew the top's expression, leaving flawless, iconic, a masterpiece. After the two of them finish studying the exam material, Jiahan turns to look at Xixi. She has the most adorable look on his face. This guy has such amazing natural talent. Why isn't he making the most of it? Stopping here would just be such a waste. A little guidance and he'd absolutely love it. Jiahan asks, so how do you feel? You want to keep studying with me? Xixi nods right away. Jiahan leans down and ruffles his hair. So whatever I tell you to do, you'll do it. Xi-Xi's eyes light up like a kid in a candy store. Yes, I'll do anything for you. Zhai-Han reaches out and tilts his face up. Then I'll take my time and teach you. Zhai-Han decides he'll train Xi-Xi exactly the way he likes. That afternoon, the two head to a cafe for dessert. Xi-Xi is absolutely beaming looking at Zhi-Han. Hey Zhi-Han, there's a place I really want to take you. Don't you love bananas, Zhi-Han? This dessert place is super popular. Let's go together. Zhi-Han replies, a little distracted. Let me think about it and I'll get back to you. Just then a large hand reaches from behind and touches Shui Fei. What's there to think about? She eyes Zhenrong wearily as he shows up out of nowhere. A showdown between rivals is about to go down. Two people both like the same person, drama is bound to happen. But honestly I think what matters most is that you three just live your lives well. Qixi watched Zhenrong with his guard up. Zhou-Han muttered under his breath about Zhenrong taking forever to show up. Turns out Ji-Hai-Han was the one who texted him to come. Zhenrong looked across the table at Xi with pure contempt. What's this hermit doing here? Xi was just as hostile. If looks could fight, those two would have gone 10 rounds by now. Zhi-Han stood up to get between them. I didn't bring you guys here to fight. Can you both just grow up? Hey Qixi, are you into Korean BBQ? Zhenrong grabbed his arm. Why do you even care what he eats? I thought you couldn't stand him. Zhi-Han turned away from him. That was ages ago, ancient history. When Xi, come on, let's go grab some BBQ. Xi thought about his curfew coming up fast. He was about to say no. But then he caught Zhenrong smirking at him from the side. And there was no way he was letting that guy have Zhi-Han all to himself. Xi grabbed his backpack. Zhi-Han, I'm coming with you. And just like that, all three of them ended up at the BBQ place. Even at dinner, the two guys couldn't stop competing. The way Xi ate was actually kind of adorable. Zhi-Han poured him a shot. I've never seen you drink before. Xi picked up the little glass and knocked it back in one go. He had to look cool in front of Zhi-Han. No choice. He just didn't expect it to taste so right. Zhi-Han saw his face scrunch up like he bit into something awful. He wrapped a piece of Mina lettuce leaf and held it up to his mouth. If it's too bitter, have a sip then chase it with some meat. Xi felt like he wasn't eating meat at all. He was eating love. Just then Zhenrong tugged on Zhi-Han's sleeve. Zhi-Han turned his head confused. And there was Zhenrong actually pausing like a little kid. Don't just wrap one for him. I want one too. Both guys were quietly competing for Zhi-Han's attention. Zhi-Han couldn't resist Zhenrong's pouty charm. So she wrapped up a piece of meat and fed it to her. Zhenrong wouldn't let her off the hook. Xi, watching from the side, was clearly not. Zhenrong ate her meat with a big blissful smile. Meanwhile, Xi knocked back another drink. His little face all flushed, eyes locked on Zhi-Han. Oh my gosh, that's adorable. Zhi-Han sighed and handed him a piece of meat. And Xi just grabbed her hand. That was basically a declaration of war against Zhenrong. This guy's no dummy. He knows exactly what he's doing. Zhi-Han felt completely caught between a rock and a hard place. After dinner, the three of them walked out the BBQ place. Hai-Han and Zhenrong decided to step out for a smoke. Good boy Xi stayed behind and waited. Xi touched his own flushed face. Wow, he didn't know it hit him this hard. Zhi-Han looked at him and thought he was kind of cute. Zhenrong grabbed him by the neck and forced him to look her in the eye. Are you done playing around? Zhi-Han's expression didn't change. Are you mad? Zhenrong answered honestly. Of course I'm mad. How could I not be? He called, I dropped everything and came right away. And then I have to sit through dinner with that guy. Didn't you say you can't stand him? So why are you suddenly all buddy-buddy with him? Zhi-Han brushed it off and I don't think it's a big deal. People change. It happens. We're not in high school anymore. Does it really matter who's close to who? Zhenrong got a little irritated.
Fine, I'm being petty, and I'm mad about it.
You owe me a good time tonight for drinks, just the two of us. Zhi-Han let out a little laugh. Yeah, that's not gonna work. The moment she heard it was off, Zhenrong was genuinely furious now. Why not? Zhi-Han put an arm around Xixi's waist and said, because Xixi's coming with us tonight. 3 pairs of men's shoes were scattered all over the floor. Xixi slowly opened his eyes and called Zhi-Han and Zhenrong making out. He was completely floored. What the hell was going on? Just an hour earlier, Zhenrong had found the whole thing absurd too. He'd said to Zhi-Han, you gotta know when to quit messing around. Zhi-Han was holding up a barely conscious Xixi, still keeping his eyes on Zhenrong. What's the problem? Don't you wanna hook up? Zhenrong nearly lost it right there on the street. He took a breath to calm himself down, rubbed his forehead, and said to Zhi-Han, dragging this guy into it now. You think I'm just gonna go along with that? Sure, a hookup situation with no strings attached is whatever. But you know how I feel about you. I actually like you. Does that mean I'm just supposed to be your pushover who does whatever you say? No way, I can't do that. Don't bring that guy up in front of me ever again. As Zhenrong turned to walk away, Zhi-Han simply said, then I'll just hook up with him alone. Zhenrong stopped in his tracks. Zhi-Han didn't show even a hint of regret. Even if you walk out right now, I'm still going to hook up with him back home. Zhenrong's feelings were a total mess, but in the end he followed Zhi-Han anyway. Unbelievable, only Yu Zhi-Han would ever pull something like this on me. Zhenrong was busy admiring Zhi-Han's looks when a guy's voice suddenly cut through from nearby. But Xixi had woken up. Zhi-Han, stop it. Don't kiss that guy. She saw a wobble as she tried to get up. Zhi-Han pulled away from Zhenrong and went over to steady Xixi. You're drunk, just stay seated. Xixi frowned slightly. Aren't you and I together? So why are you doing this with someone else? I hate this. Oh, Zhi-Han, can you just be with me? I'm not closing my eyes until I see you 3 together. Xixi said he wants Zhi-Han all to himself. I already told you, we're not together. I'm not looking for a relationship with anyone. Not now, not ever. People's feelings burn hot and change fast. You don't even know me, but you say you like me. That's pretty shallow. I'm not wasting my energy on something that could fall apart. Xixi clenches his fists. I won't mess up your life, I promise. I'll even learn to make rice cakes. Whatever makes you happy. So just drop that other guy. Zhi-Han still won't budge. We're not even dating. So why would I limit myself to just this is who I am, this is the guy you claim to like. I do want to keep hanging out with you. But if that's not enough for you, feel free to walk away. Just sit back and watch today. Think of it as a learning experience. Chai Zhengrong, let's get started. Wen said Xia, you just sit there and watch. Before he could finish, Jihan was suddenly pulled over. Zhengrong looks at him with deep affection. Jihan reaches up and tugs on his ear. Hey, give me a heads up before you yank me like that. I almost twisted something just now. Zhengrong doesn't care. No, I'm doing things my way too. Whatever I feel like. Zhengrong is determined to keep Jihan so busy he has no time to think about any other guy. Meanwhile, Xixi's expression goes dark. Jihan sneaks a glance at him. Xixi looks crushed. Is he actually upset? Zhengrong reaches over and pinches Jihan's face. Hey, focus on me right now. Couch potato over there. The two of them get close and suddenly a figure steps up beside them. Xixi takes off his glasses, his expression unreadable. Zhehan gets startled and sits up. Before he can say a word, Xixi cuts him off. Since we're not in a relationship, that means I can do whatever I want too, right? Since we're not actually together, I can do whatever I want, right? Xixi's sudden outburst left Zhehan completely thrown off. Zhengrong stood up and gave Xixi a shove. What are you even talking about? You were told to sit down and stay quiet. Nobody asked for your input. Know your place. Zhengrong turned back and stepped up to Zhehan. Xiaixi fired back from behind. Sounds like you're not exactly in a position to talk either. Zhengrong shot a look at Xixi. You've been taking fights since you got here. Don't tell me you actually want him. Just then Zhehan spoke up too. Why are you two suddenly going at each other? Xiaixi does have a point though. I told you he was joining too, and you said you were fine with it. Zhehan held up a finger. There are two of you who want to be with me, but there's only one of me. So why should you two be the ones calling the shots? When I said I didn't want to be tied down, I wasn't just talking to Wen Xixi. You get that, right, Zhengrong? Well, Zhengrong leaned in close to Zhehan. Then I'm not changing anything either. We've been doing this for a year. Don't you trust me by now? Xixi watched the two of them from behind. Zhengrong was slowly moving closer to Jihan. Just then, a large hand reached in. Xixi beat him to it. Rong was blindsided, the prize had been snatched right out from them. Jihan was a little surprised. She hadn't expected Xixi to make a move like that. Zhengrong was seething. He decided he couldn't just let this slide. The spot by Zhehan's side belonged to him and no one else. They say you can always learn something from the people around you. But both men wanted to be the only one for Jihan. Zhengrong was furious. Why was Xixi trying to muscle in on what he and Jihan had? She was just as angry. He had feelings for Jihan for a long time, and he never liked Zhengrong. She near them was willing to back down. Xixi thought Zhengrong was way out of line. Couldn't he see that Jihan was exhausted? But Jihan just gently patted Xixi's hand. It's okay. Honestly, I'm happy. Zhengrong looked at Jihan, feeling conflicted. He wanted a real relationship with him, but Jihan clearly saw him as nothing more than a hookup. So Jihan, is this really what you want? Then fine, have it your way. The next day, Jihan was dead tired and still knocked out. As Xixi was leaving, he paused and glanced back. Was this really the right call? The moment Xixi stepped out, Zhengrong stopped him. Jihan's not here. You and I need to have a little talk. Xiaxi's brow furrowed tight. Zhengrong didn't hold back. Stay away from Jihan from now on. Be smart about it and get lost. Xiaxi didn't flinch, and why the hell would I do that? Zhengrong was fed up one night and suddenly you think you're something special. I know Jihan better than anyone. I'll let this one slide. But someone like you never should have had a shot to begin with. Zhengrong dabbed his cigarette into Xixi's bag like he was making a Xixi grabbed his hand. Zhengrong didn't expect him to push back. Xixi looked him dead in the eye. Looks like things aren't quite how you imagine, because Jihan and I, last night wasn't the first time. A senior who's been by his side for a year, on the other a genius who just showed up out of nowhere. I really have no idea what Jihan's gonna choose in the end. Outside the door, Kaxie and Zhengrong are still going at each other. He just loses it. He grabs Xixi by the collar and shoves him into a corner. When exactly did those two start? Zhengrong's hands are literally shaking. Which? So what? What are you gonna do about it? Jihan got his heart broken before. He made it crystal clear he was done with relationships. Even I, who've been by his side all this time, couldn't change his mind. So what exactly do you think he can do coming out of nowhere like this? You think you're the first guy to try? I deleted every contact that reached out to him. Jihan knew all about it. He didn't say a word because I'm the only one who fits what he wants. Right now, I'm the only one still standing by his side. You get it now. He's just curious about you for a second. Don't go reading into it. Hearing that, Xixi looks calm on the surface. But behind his back, his hand is trembling too. But what's the difference between you and me? Right now, you're just a hookup, not his partner. Those words cut Zhengrong deep. What the hell do you know? The time I've shared with him is something you can't even come close to. And what we have is way more solid than whatever you've got. But Xixi doesn't back down. How long you were with him before doesn't matter to me. Because from here on out, I'm the one who's gonna be with him forever. Zhengrong is absolutely fuming. Xixi keeps going. I'm not giving up on Jihan. I'll wait as long as it takes. Until the day he finally lets his guard down. Zhengrong lets out a cold laugh, slams his shoulder hard into Xi's, and says, no matter how hard you fight, it's not gonna work. Just wait, and see who's the last one standing. Both men wanted to be Jihan's one and only, and even when the three of them hung out together, they couldn't stop competing. The next morning, Jihan was woken up by his phone blowing up. He checked it and saw messages from Zhengrong and Xixi. Both of them wanted Jihan all to themselves. Jihan put his phone down and sighed. Why does everyone have to put a label on things? Isn't the way things are now perfectly fine? Love never lasts anyway. So why was Jihan so dead set against being in a relationship? Well, it all goes back to his first love. The two of them met in high school. One day, Jihan slept in and showed up late to school. The teacher made all the late students stand outside as punishment. That's when Jai-Han spotted a really good-looking guy in the crowd, looked like an upperclassman. And as luck would have it, he ended up standing right next to Jai-Han. Jai-Han overheard him quietly scheming with his friends about how to get. Jai-Han thought, this guy's got guts. If they got caught, they'd definitely be running laps. But before he knew it, someone grabbed his hand. He turned around and the upperclassman flashed him a grin, then just dragged him along as he bolted. They ran all the way to the edge of campus to hide from the teacher, not even noticing how close they'd gotten to each other. When their eyes met, both of them couldn't help but blush. The upperclassman even helped Jai-Han sneak back in by climbing over the fence. But just as Jai-Han made it to the top, the teacher came running over. In a panic, Jai-Han slipped and twisted his ankle. Still, they managed to get away without getting caught. They made it to the school building, but Jai-Han's foot was killing him and he had to crouch down. The upperclassman saw his ankle was hurt, without a word, turned his back and said, hop on, I'll carry you to the nurse's office. I came to find you because I missed you. Jai-Han's face turned bright red when Changbin said that just yesterday, Jai-Han had randomly run into Jing Changbin, a senior. Changbin noticed Jai-Han had hurt her foot. He insisted on carrying her to the nurse's office. Jai-Han tried to say no, but it didn't matter. Back home, Jai-Han lay in bed, her mind all over the place. Why did that senior even bother talking to her? He was so good, looking that even she, as a guy, felt her heart skip a beat. But the way he hopped that wall like it was nothing. He looks all sunshine and smiles, but he's probably a total bad boy. Better stop thinking about it. It's not like their paths would ever cross again anyway. But the very next day, the moment Jai-Han walked into class, there was Changbin sitting at her desk, waving at her with a big grin. Everyone in class looked at Jai-Han with pure envy. Changbin's good looks were pretty much legendary around school. Jai-Han gave him a puzzled look. What are you doing in our classroom? Changbin pouted. Jai-Han, how can you be so cold about? I came to find you because I missed you, obviously. Those words made Jai-Han's heart go crazy. Their classmates immediately started whooping and teasing. Han grabbed the senior's hand and pulled him toward the door, wanting to find somewhere private to talk. But when she turned around, they were so close they almost kissed. Both of them spun away, faces completely red. Jai-Han spoke first. Did you come find me for something? Changbin crouched right down. How's your ankle doing? I kept thinking about you getting hurt yesterday. I was worried, so I had to come see you. Jai-Han felt a little embarrassed. Changbin held out a bottle of milk. Here, I heard you like banana milk. Consider it a little gift. What do you do when you suddenly realize you like a guy? Jai-Han hurt his foot. It was just an accident. But Changbin came all the way to the classroom to check on him. He brought him the milk he loves, and before leaving he ruffled his hair. At first, Jai-Han was a little guarded around this upperclassman he barely knew. But after that day, Changbin came to his classroom every single day, always bringing him snacks. And on rainy days, he'd walk him home under an umbrella. Gradually, Jai-Han got used to Changbin's warmth. Your shoulder's getting soaked. Tilt the umbrella more your way. But Changbin just pulled Jai-Han in closer by the shoulder. The umbrella's too small. If we just get closer, problem solved, right? And just like that, Jai-Han's heart started to fall. The real turning point between them came by chance. One day, Jai-Han was at Changbin's place, lying with his head in his lap watching TV together. They were goofing around like usual, but the playful teasing slowly turned into quiet close, and the mood between them shifted into something electric. Changbin leaned in and kissed Jai-Han, and Jai-Han didn't pull away. From that day on, everything between them was different. Every day after school, Jai-Han was with Changbin. The two of them were practically glued together, texting each other the moment they got home. Changbin filled every corner of Jai-Han's mind and heart. He was completely hooked on how sweet it all felt. He leaned into Changbin's arms and softly said, I like you. Changbin didn't say anything back, just smiled and held him close. Jai-Han was lost in the happiness of being with Changbin, but it didn't last. Somewhere along the way, Changbin started leaving by himself after school. When Jai-Han texted him, he'd just say he had plans. Every single day it was the same thing. Then came another rainy day and Jai-Han hadn't seen Changbin again. He trudged home alone, feeling low. Why did Changbin suddenly become like this? Does he even matter to him at all? Just as Jai-Han was spiraling, he heard a familiar voice nearby. The umbrella's too small. Let's just get closer. Jai-Han looked up and froze, staring at a couple sharing an umbrella. And the person under that umbrella wasn't that Changbin. This first love guy makes my blood boil. He pulled Jai-Han in, then just ghosted him like it was nothing. That's just messed up. When Jai-Han saw Changbin kissing another girl, it hit him like a bolt out of the blue. He stormed over and slapped Changbin right across the face. The girl stood there, completely panicked, staring at Changbin. Changbin glanced at Jai-Han, who was shaking all over, and told the girl to head home. He'd be there after he handled this. Hearing that made Jai-Han fall apart even more. That girl was going to Changbin's place, and anyone with a brain could figure out what was gonna happen. But Changbin didn't care at all about how Jai-Han felt. He blamed Jai-Han for hitting him without thinking, then turned around and called the girl, talking all sweet to her. Jai-Han stood alone in the rain, crying. But you kissed me, you actually kissed me. We were at your place every single day. Closer than any couple could ever be.
Yeah.
I'm scared. Please don't do this to me. But what Changbin said next was like a bucket of ice water over Jai-Han's head. I'm known for jumping from one person to the next, that's just who I am. Oh, you're so naive. Honestly, that's the one thing I liked about you. Since we're here, I'll just be straight with you. In the beginning, yeah, I was into you. I liked spending time with you. But that's not how I feel anymore. Feelings change, you can't control that. Besides, two guys in a relationship, come on. Something like this would destroy my career. Changbin turned to leave, and Jai-Han grabbed his hand crying, confessing, trying to get him to stay. The commotion started drawing a crowd of students. Chen Bin saw more people gathering and shoved Jihan to the ground, throwing out a curse word.
Why do you keep clinging to me like this?
If I'd known it'd come to this, I never would have got involved with you in the first place. Who knew that once the innocent one finally woke up, he'd be this good? But seriously, you two are doing this in the classroom. That takes guts. Zhai Han came to class that day just like any other morning. But Jianrong and Xixi were both nowhere to be found. His first love had hurt him so bad, he completely given up on love. Even though both Jianrong and Xixi liked him and treated him really well, he still didn't want to be with either of them. And now they'd ended up in this whole messy situation together. They're both probably furious with him right now. Just as Zhai Han's mind was spiraling, the classroom suddenly buzzed with excitement. Everyone was whispering about the hot guy who just walked in. Nobody had ever seen him before. The guy walked straight over to Zhai Han and held out a drink. Hey Zhai Han, good weekend. Here, try my favorite drink instead of that banana milk today. Hope you like it. Zhai Han's heart skipped a beat. It was Wen Xixi. He wasn't wearing his glasses today. After they sat down, Zhai Han kept sneaking glances at him. Was Xixi wearing colored contacts or something? He looked so different from usual. He didn't seem angry at all. If anything, Zhai Han was the nervous one. There she went again, lost in her own head. Just then, Xixi suddenly placed his hand on her thigh. Zhai Han turned to look in shock. Xixi leaned in close. Zhai Han, are you free after class? I want to run through that high note with you again. Oh my god, Xixi, you are so bold. After class, the two slipped into an empty AV room. Xixi was different today. Before, he needed Zhai Han to walk him through everything. Today, he didn't need any help at all. Zhai Han, come check out what I've been practicing. You ever wonder why a triangle is the most stable shape? Looking at these three, I finally get it. In this empty club room, Zhai Han and Xixi were having a deep study session. When suddenly there was a knock at the door. And who was at the door? Jianrong. He pulled out his key, unlocked the door, and walked right in. The place looked completely empty. Jianrong settled onto the couch to rest. And as he sat there, he started. Why hasn't Zhai Han picked up? Class ended ages ago. He'd skipped class in the first place just to avoid running into Xi. And now Zhai Han had gone completely off the grid. Were those two off somewhere studying together again? Jianrong, hate to break it to you, but yeah, you nailed it. Zhai Han and Xixi were both hiding inside the closet. A bump against the closet wall was all it took. Jianrong heard it instantly. He also noticed something off about the couch. No, it was what he was thinking. Jianrong grabbed his phone and called Zhi Han. Sure enough, a phone started ringing from inside the closet. 快步走到衣柜前. You too. Rong reached out and grabbed Zhi Han by the face. How many times do I have to watch you prove you don't want to be with me? Do I have to give up on you before this circus stops? Get out here now. Zhi Han kept his head down and wouldn't look at him. My boyfriend, stay out of it. Chimed in from beside them, provoking him by claiming Zhi Han was his. Jianrong ground his teeth. Jiang Zhi Han, you're trying to set me off, aren't you? Mission accomplished. You two are seriously cracking me up. Why did you wrap Zhi Han up like that? After the three of them hooked up in the empty classroom, Zhi Han was covered in the smell. So to keep anyone from noticing, Jianrong threw his own jacket over Zhi Han completely. Zhi Han could barely stand Xi. Yet both guys were fighting over who got the steadier. Zhi Han pulled off the hood and let out a sigh. Then reached into Xixi's pocket and pulled out his glasses. You should just keep wearing your glasses from now. Because that's so much more you. Acting out of character like that really throws people off. Xixi nodded, his face turning red. And Zhi Han couldn't help blushing too. Xixi without his glasses was just way too dangerous. Neither a fox spirit nor a heart could handle that. Jianrong huffed from the side. If you're into glasses, I can wear some too, you know. The three of them goofed around, not even thinking about what consequences their little hookup might have. The next day at the club room, one of their classmates angrily told everyone that they'd heard weird noises outside the classroom door yesterday. Whoever was inside had locked the door and wouldn't open up. Someone was definitely fooling around in there. Xixi, the resident homebody, became the #1 suspect. Luckily, nobody jumped to any conclusions. They just said no one could lock the door again. Zhi Han sighed. What a shame, one less safe spot to use. 1 second, Zhi Han was stressing over that. And the next he spotted an even bigger problem. Jianrong had stopped skipping class altogether. Now he and Xixi flanked Zhi Han on both sides. Zhi Han scratched his head. How did things end up like this? Both guys stuck to Zhi Han like glue, even in class. Neither one was willing to back down. While Zhi Han was still stressing about it, the teacher's voice cut through. Turns out today was the group presentation day. Zhi Han couldn't even believe himself. He'd been so caught up dealing with Xixi that he completely forgot about the assignment. What was he supposed to do now? Just then, Zhi Han heard someone rummaging around beside him. Xixi's USB drive seemed to be missing. She kept digging through her bag, looking. Then Zhi Han caught the sound of Jianrong snickering on the other side. Did Jianrong seriously throw away Xixi's USB drive? If that's what happened, that was way out of line. The presentation was tied directly to their grade after all. Leaned over and asked Xi if everything was okay. To his surprise, Xixi pulled out 4 USB drives. It's fine. I figured something like this might happen. So I made several backups ahead of time. Just like that, Xixi walked up to the podium, leaving both of them stunned. Zhi Han let out a sigh of relief. He'd worried for nothing. But wait, how did Xixi put together the whole presentation by herself? It was supposed to be a group project. Still, compared to yesterday, Xia with her glasses on was definitely Qiucha. While Zhi Han was lost in his thoughts, Pricey's presentation wrapped up. Zhi Han was surprised to see Xixi had added his name to the last slide. Watching her smile back at him all bright and goofy, Zhi Han actually felt a little guilty. Xixi skipped back to her seat, beaming, fishing for a compliment from Zhi Hai. Jiahan, come on, I did great up there, right? Jiahan was a little annoyed. That's not the point. Why did you put my name on it? What about the rest of the group? She said, a little hurt. But you look so busy I didn't want to pile more on you. And I couldn't get a hold of the others anyway. Jiahan let out a sigh. Next time, just tell me ahead of time, okay? Meanwhile, Jianrong hadn't said a single word. He just sat there quietly, watching the two of them. What was going to happen between the three of them next? Jianrong and Xixi are completely different types of guys. I wonder who Jiahan leans toward more. That chaotic class finally wrapped up. Xixi wanted to drag Jiahan out for lunch. But Jiahan wanted to step out for a smoke first. So she headed outside with Jianrong. She called out anxiously, I'm coming too. Jiahan stopped him. No, just stay here. You don't even smoke. Xixi tried to say something else. Jiahan cut him off firmly. I'll be right back. Wait here for me. Then she turned and left with Jianrong. Jiahan and Jianrong smoked outside the building. Jiahan couldn't help but ask, how the flash drive thing, that was you, wasn't it? Jianrong didn't even try to deny it. Yeah, I dropped it. Jiahan frowned. Why would you pull something that childish? Even a middle schooler wouldn't do that. Fine, do whatever you want to me. But why do you keep giving him such a hard time? Jianrong heard that and stepped right in front of Jiahan. He grabbed her face and pulled her close. You barely know the guy and you're already taking his side. You're always going against me. Why are you so harsh on me? Jiahan said seriously. I'm not giving Wen Xixi any special treatment. I'm always like this. Jianrong pried open Jiahan's lip. What if it wasn't me who did it but him? Would you have pretended to lose just to let him win? And opened the door wide for him? Jiahan was starting to get angry too. Stop making things up in your head. Quit picking fights with him for no reason. Jianrong clenched his jaw and kissed Jiahan hard. He even tried to push her. Jiahan's eyes went wide. She shoved Jianrong away. I've already told you no. If you pull this again, we're done. For real. Two guys were going at it right next to Jiahan, arguing nonstop, both claiming they were the ones she liked more. Jiahan just wanted to sigh. Can these two ever be in the same place without fighting? Her phone buzzed in her pocket. Jiahan pulled it out to check. It was a message from her landlady. Jiahan stopped walking to type back a reply. But the two behind her didn't notice, and kept walking forward. And just like that, they slammed right into her. Jiahan's phone hit the ground and shattered on impact. The coffee in her hand spilled all over her. All three of them froze, staring at the mess. Jiahan's expression went cold. I've told you both 1,000,000 times to knock it off. That phone still had a year left on its contract. And this hoodie, I just put it on for the first time today. What is wrong with you two? You're both out of your minds? Xixi immediately threw his hands up in surrender. I'll get you the hoodie right away. For the phone once I pick up some extra shifts I can. Jianrong cut Xixi off mid-sentence. Jiahan, I'll buy it for you. Skip class today. Let's go right now. Jiahan said, completely unamused. Did you pay my tuition or something? You've got some nerve. Jianrong just laughed it off. Honestly, I wouldn't mind paying it. Someone's too proud to let that happen though. Made a whole thing about it. Jiahan wrung the coffee out of her hoodie as she spoke. You always do this. You think you can just throw money at every problem. Watching the two of them go back and forth like that. Xixi felt a pang in his chest. Jiahan, let me be the one to get it. I'll save up fast, I swear. This whole thing was my fault anyway. Jiahan quickly waved him off. Forget it, I'm not having you pick up extra shifts just to buy me a phone. It's fine, just go back to class. No point in you skipping too. Xixi looked like he still had something to say. But Jianrong pulled Jiahan close and put his arm around her. If you've got nothing to offer, a simple apology will do. I'll take good care of her, Jiahan. Now go on, get back to class. If Jiahan were keeping score on these two guys, the competition would be pretty wild. Xixi helped Jiahan with his homework, that's a point. Jianrong stole a kiss, that's a point off. Both of them broke Jiahan's phone, points off for both. But Jianrong pulled out all the stops and shot way ahead. Jianrong offered to buy Jiahan a new phone and new clothes. Aishi stood in the background watching the two of them walk away, completely helpless. God, he looked like a puppy that just got left behind. Meanwhile, Jianrong drove his luxury car and took Jiahan to the mall. I'll go park. Go ahead and pick out some clothes. I'll bring the bag over to you in a bit. Jiahan nodded and headed into the mall on his own. As he walked, Jiahan's mind started to wander. He wondered if Xixi was in class right now. That last thing Jianrong said was a bit much. That kid Xixi seems so clueless. It's kind of hard not to worry about him. Getting some new clothes is what matters right now. Jiahan walked into an upscale boutique, where a sales associate greeted him warmly. Oh, welcome, Mr. Jin. Mr. Qi already gave us a heads up. Just let me know if you need anything. The associate helped Jiahan browse through the store. Then Jianrong walked in carrying a bag. I'll find anything you like. Anything catch your eye. Jiahan held up two outfits and asked, which one looks better? Jianrong shrugged it off and said, why even stress about it? Just get both. Jiahan was speechless. I meant, which one should I wear today? Dummy! Hand me the bag. I need to change. Seeing that Jiahan was about to change, Jianrong quickly sent the sales associate out. Once she closed the door and left, leaned back and started staring at Jiahan with way too much interest. Jiahan turned and shot him a look. What are you staring at? Get out you. I can change on my own. Leaned in close and bent down to him. Babe, I'm the one buying you these clothes. I can't even sneak a peek. Jiahan, you're so cute. After Jianrong sent the store clerk away, it was just him and Jiahan left in the fitting room. Jiahan tried to kick him out too, but Jianrong refused to budge. So Jiahan had no choice but to let him stay. Thinking about the big dinner coming up, Jianrong was thrilled. Jiahan asked Jianrong to hand over the underwear he'd bought. But to his surprise, Jianrong had picked out a Game of Theme pair. Jianrong was cheering him on from the side. Just wear them once for me, okay? Han's face turned a little red. So Zhenrong actually liked games. Would Qixi be into them too? Zhenrong kept pouting and begging besides. Fine, just this once. Watching Zhihan blush as he changed into the underwear right in front of him. Zhenrong couldn't help but burst out laughing. Zhihan, why are you so adorable? Look at you all blushing like that. No matter what you're wearing, you're still just a little kid. That got Zhihan annoyed. Zhenrong wrapped his arms tight around stay him. Like this a little longer. It really suits you. This is a rare opportunity. Let's not waste it. So Zhenrong kept Zhihan there playing the game for a long time. When they finally left, Zhihan was still complaining. You didn't have to deal with the mess. Of course Zhenrong laughed and slung his arm around Zhihan's shoulder. Sorry, cut me some slack this time, will you? Just as the two of them were in great spirit, a woman's voice suddenly called out to Zhenrong from behind. Zhihan turned around, and his eyes flashed with panic. Of all people, it was Zhenrong's mom who had tracked them down. I never thought the whole is $5 million. Stay away from my son thing could happen to a guy too. Seeing Zhenrong's mom again, Zhihan froze up instantly. All he could do was bow and say how. But Zhenrong's mom wasn't having it. She completely ignored Zhihan and turned to Zhenrong. You got some nerve. I already warned you. Why don't you ever listen? The older you get, the more you need to own your choices. Zhenrong just brushed it off and pulled Zhihan close. You haven't seen your son in forever, and you're not even a little happy. That's kinda heartbreaking, Mom. And what about, after all this time, are you any closer to accepting us? But honestly, it doesn't matter if you don't. I'm ready to do the right thing and marry him abroad. Zhenrong's mom frowned. This family didn't invest in you so you could throw your life away like this. Well, I still have patience. You need to cut things off with him. Right now.
You're an only child.
Do you have any idea how much your father expects from you? You barely had enough time to learn the business from your father. And yet you're off taking all kinds of random classes.
You have no idea what's good for you.
Anyway, there's a family gathering this weekend. You're going no excuses. Don't push it and end up on the wrong side of your father again. With that, Zhenrong's mom turned and laughed. On her way out, she shot Zhihan a cold, sharp look. Zhihan, who'd been in a good mood, felt it all crashed out. Zhenrong quickly tried to comfort him. Hey, I'm sorry. My mom's always been like this. Don't take it to heart. She probably had a fight with my dad and is taking it out on you. Come on, let's go get some good food and shake it off. Johan stood there with his head down, not saying a word. He quietly reached up and lifted Zhenrong's arm off his shoulder. I'm a little tired. I'm gonna head out. You still don't believe I have feelings for you. Zhenrong took Zhihan's hand and pressed it against her own chest. Zhihan's feelings were a complete mess. Because between the two of them, the one who fell asleep was probably Zhihan herself. When she saw Zhenrong's mother again, Zhihan was flooded with bad memories from the past and just wanted to get out of there. Zhenrong rushed over and grabbed her hand. Zhihan, just talk to me. I don't get why you treat me differently than when she's shy. Ever since that guy showed up, you've been deliberately pushing me away. Tell me, what's actually standing between us? We set boundaries from the very beginning. You're the one who changed your mind and wants something more. As Zhihan said that, she felt a pang of guilt and looked away. Isn't when she the exact same boat? We both want more than just friendship, we both want a real relationship. But the way you treat us is completely different. Zhihan shook her head. Wen Xixi has always been different. His feelings for me had never wavered, not even once. No games, no lies. The only reason he goes along with things is because I'm the one who said I wanted something casual. Wu Jianrong listened to Zhihan's explanation and just couldn't buy it. He reached out and took her hand. Why can you so easily trust that guy, but not me? Even now, you still don't believe I'm genuinely into you. Han looked down, guilt written all over her face. No, I don't. My heart might have died back in high school. Back in high school, she already got played by her first love. And now she runs into the person she likes with another girl. Can you believe it? I can't even imagine how devastated Zhihan must have been. A year ago, Jianrong and Zhihan met on an app. After their first hookup, they were both really into each other. So things between them kept going for a long time. Because Jianrong not only kept Zhihan satisfied, but always looked at him like he was the only person in the world. And Zhihan slowly started falling for her. He thought maybe they could actually turn this into a real relationship. That's exactly where things started going sideways. Jianrong's mom hired a private investigator to tail her. They got photos of Jianrong and Zhihan together. Then her mom reached out to Zhihan directly. She wanted him to walk away from Jianrong. Of course, Zhihan wasn't having it. He kept seeing Jianrong on the down low. One day, Zhihan waited and waited, but Jianrong never showed up. He went to her place and nobody was home either. She had never stood him up before. Just as Zhihan was starting to worry something had happened to her, his phone buzzed. He picked it up hoping it was a message from Jianrong. Instead, it was 2 random hotel charge notifications. The name on the charges was Jianrong. But why would those notifications even be sent to Zhihan? He looked closer. The number that sent them was totally unknown. Was Jianrong's mom behind this? Zhihan's gut was in knots, and she went alone to the hotel in the message. No sign of Jianrong in the lobby. Zhihan was just starting to breathe easy. When he heard Jianrong's voice behind him, he turned around stiff as a board, and saw Jianrong walking out with another girl, all over each other. Seeing the person he likes getting close with another girl again, Zhihan completely fell apart. His voice trembling, he called out Jianrong's name. Jianrong turned around and saw Zhihan, his eyes filled with panic. Tears were welling up in Zhihan's eyes. This can't be me. This is all a misunderstanding. What's wrong? Who is this guy? Do you know him, Jianrong? Zhenrong couldn't bring himself to look behind him. Zhihan kept repeating the questions burning in his heart. Why did you stab me up? Why wouldn't you pick up my calls? Zhai could barely think straight anymore. He desperately needed Zhenrong to tell him that his mom had forced him into it, that it was all a misunderstanding. If Zhenrong just said the word, he'd forgive him on the spot. But instead, Zhenrong turned to the girl and said casually, 其实生了来 no big deal. Don't worry about him. Let's go. With that, Zhenrong put his arm around her and walked away. Before he left, he glanced back at Zhehan one last time. Zhehan watched the two of them disappear into the distance, his whole body cold and shaking. Why is this happening? Why does everyone do this to him? Nah, back to the present. Zhehan snaps out of the memory. Seeing him go quiet, Zhenrong asks with concern, are you thinking about that day again? Is that why you won't give me a chance? I came and explained everything to you right after. That was all my mom's doing. I acted that way on purpose so you wouldn't get dragged into it. But it still hurt you that day, and I'm sorry. You're the only one I care about. I don't want anyone else but you. When friends with benefits start catching feelings, things get complicated. But what happens when a third person enters the picture? Zhehan was the first to realize he had feelings for Zhenrong. But Zhenrong comes from serious old money. That and his family would never allow him to be with Zhai. Zhenrong's mom stepped in to shut it down, and that was a wake-up call for Zhehan. Zhenrong has feelings for him. But when family interests and business come first, Zhai would never truly be Zhenrong's number one. So even with those feelings, Zhai forced himself to let Zhenrong go and keep things purely physical, no strings attached. Then Caixi came along. At first, Zhai kept it casual with him too, but Qixi's number one has always been Jihan, no question. The way he treats Zhai is rock solid and completely genuine. It's hard for Jihan not to be moved by that. So he keeps unconsciously taking Qixi's side, which is exactly what Zhenrong knows. Ever since Qiqi showed up, Zhai has been deliberately pulling away from him. This love triangle has me completely on the edge of my seat. I can't wait to see where this goes. Zhai gets a call from his landlady. She's raising the rent. But there's no way he can cover that much right now. Zhenrong offers to let Zhai move in with him. Zhai thinks it could work. But if he accepts, what does that mean going forward? Will he have to lean on Zhenrong every time something goes wrong? And how long could they even last living together? How would Zhenrong's family try to make his life miserable? What if Zhenrong's feelings eventually fade? Where would that leave him? Zhai is drowning in insecurity and guilt. So he turns Zhenrong down and decides to pick up a part-time job to cover the rent himself. Just as Zhai is about to get out of the car, Zhenrong grabs him and won't let him leave. He calls up a buddy who happens to be short-staffed and can hook Zhai up with a part-time gig. Zhenrong says friends are supposed to look out for each other. Zhai can't really say no at that point, so he agrees. Back home, Zhai is still stressing. So much has been hitting him all at once lately, and he's feeling totally overwhelmed. Then his phone buzzes. He picks it up and checks the message. It's Ashisha asking him out on a date to an amusement park. But honestly, are those two really without fault? Just when Jihan was stressing over the rent and the whole Jinrong situation, Xiop texted asking if he wanted to hit up an amusement park that weekend. It had just done a collab with his favorite banana milk brand. Plus, Xiop said his dad had given him 2 tickets. All Jihan had to do was show up. Xiop would handle everything else. Still, Jihan wasn't sure. Could he really just go have fun with everything going on right now? When Jihan kept not replying, Xiop got worried and asked if he already had plans. Jihan said no. Xiop sent an adorable bunny emoji and said he'd noticed Jihan seemed down lately and was worried, so he thought it'd be nice for them to get out together when the weather cleared up. That did it. Jihan was sold. He happily said yes. Come the weekend, Jihan headed to the amusement park. The moment he spotted the shiny banana milk sculpture, his whole mood lifted. Though the weather felt a bit chilly, had he not dressed warm enough? Just then someone put a hand on Jihan's shoulder. Jihan turned around and found Xiop grinning ear to ear. Jihan, you're here so early. Xiop had already been waiting at the park for him. Jihan reached out and cupped his face in his hand. Why is your face so cold? How long have you been out here waiting? Xiop looked down and said quietly, not that long, just a little over 2 hours. He'd been too excited about their date to sleep, so he just came early and waited. And here, and pulled out a scarf and wrapped it around Jihan's neck. It's nothing fancy, but it's my little gift for our date. I saw it at the gift shop and just knew it was perfect for you. It's pretty cold today, so put it on and then we'll go explore. So what do you think? Jihan, do you like it? Great news for everyone who ships a queen with her loyal devoted guy. This episode is pure wholesome romance. Xiqi wraps a scarf around Jihan. How's that? Warmer now? Jihan gives a little nod. Caixi worries Jihan might not be into it. He nervously tugs at his own scarf. So, I'll admit I had a bit of an agenda getting us matching scarves. But hey, we're at an amusement park, so I figured it's totally fine. Jihan blushes and looks down. He quietly says thank you. Those 2 little words make Xixi's heart skip a beat. Xiqi is absolutely beaming. He grabs Jihan's hand and pulls him along. Alright, let's kick things off with the collab event. I'm going to make today the best day you've ever had. Wonder if Xiqi regretted saying that when he was screaming his head off on the roller coaster. Zhehan though was having a blast. Xiqi took tons of photos of Zhehan too. The date went surprisingly smoothly. They even bought each other cute little headbands. Xiqi totally rocks the bunny ears. But honestly, Zhehan looks less like a bear and more like a little fox. The two of them walk along happy as can be. Xiqi excitedly points at the Ferris wheel at the top of its arc. Giddy as a kid on Christmas morning. Zhehan can't help but ask, is this your first time at an amusement park? Xiqi nods. Yeah, I never really had friends to come with. And my parents were always busy. Jahan looked skeptical. Not even with someone you dated. Xie said shyly. In my heart, Jahan, you're the only one I'd ever call my person. Getting to make these memories here with you today. It really means everything.
What about you, Jahan?
Are you having a good time today? Jahan looks at him and blinks. Then he grabs Xixi's hand and takes a big bite of his ice cream. Jahan licks the ice cream off the corner of his mouth and smiles. I'm having a great time. All thanks to you. I had a really great time today. Hearing Jahan say that, Xixi's face turned red instantly. Seeing him all flustered, Jahan couldn't help but tease him. What's your deal now, you weirdo? Jahan kept his eyes on Xixi. They'd been glued to each other lately, and he'd almost forgotten what Xixi used to be like. Back then he just thought of him as some creep who was always following him around, but now it felt different. He'd actually started to care about him. After riding so many attractions, it was already nighttime. The two of them got off the pirate ship ride once again. Xixi was so scared his leg wouldn't stop shaking. Jahan asked, are you tired? Xixi touched his own chest. A little. My heart feels like it's beating way too fast. Jahan's eyes lit up right away. Let me check. Jahan reached out and pressed his hand against Xixi's chest, feeling right. His heart rate does seem a little off. Xi's heart was pounding like crazy. Was he just imagining things? Why did Jahan seem so bold today? Jahan pulled his hand back and asked, if you're tired, maybe we should just head home early. Xixia quickly stepped in front of him to block his way. No, I'm totally fine. Full of energy. You haven't had enough either, right, Jihan? Jahan wanted to mess with Xi a little, so he put on a thinking face. Actually, I still haven't done my favorite ride. He flashed a little smile and pointed at the drop tower nearby. You can't come to an amusement park and skip that thing. Xixi was trembling with fear beside him, but for Jahan's sake, he threw caution to the wind. Alright then, let's go do it. Jahan turned to look at him. He's terrified but still trying to act tough. What a dork. But Jahan reached over and took Xi's hand. Actually, I changed my mind. Let's go on the Ferris wheel instead. I can't even. The hopeless romantic just got knocked flat. Xixi is always so sweet and well-behaved whenever he's around Jahan. Jahan could tell Xixi was really scared of the thrill rides. So he took him to ride the Ferris wheel instead. Xixi was over the moon. I actually wanted to ride the Ferris wheel too. Oh, and of course I totally go on whatever ride Jahan likes. Jahan thought him. This guy is clearly terrified of those rides, yet he's out here trying to act tough. The two of them walked past a photo booth. Xixi excitedly tapped Jahan on the shoulder. Jahan, let's take a picture together. How about as a memento of our first date? Jahan said he didn't want to take a picture, but walked right into the booth anyway. Fine, it's an amusement park, so I'll do you this one favor and take the picture. You already gave me that scarf. I'll pay for the photo booth. Xixi happily nodded along. Jahan smells so good. They set up the timer for the photo. Xixi secretly tried to copy Jahan's pose and got caught. Jahan turned and pinched his cheek. Why are you copying me? Xixi begged for mercy and said, because it makes us look like a couple. Jahan kept on pinching his cheek. We are not a couple. Whatever. Just strike whatever pose you want for the next shot. Xixi's heart was pounding. Whatever pose I want. Obviously heart shape with fingers. I'm dying. Jahan switched his hand gesture at the very last second before the shot.
She was devastated.
Didn't you say I could pick the pose? I wanted to do a heart. Jahan just laughed. I was just messing with you. Let's do the heart shot for real this time. Xixi nodded. Jahan looked at their reflection in the screen and smiled. I can literally see through the camera that you've been staring at me the whole time. Don't you want a nice photo? Then you gotta look at the camera. 3 seconds left. Xixi kept his eyes fixed on Jahan. In the very last second before the shutter clicked, Xixi reached out and laced his fingers through Jahan's, pulled him close and kissed him. Jahan turned away, face completely red. How could you just without any warning? Xixi picked up the photo that just printed out. Jahan, thank you for the gift. This is officially my #1 treasure from now on. Wen Xixi, why do you like me? What could you possibly see in someone like me? Xixi was beaming, holding the 2 photos he'd sneaked of himself kissing Jahan. This is officially my #1 treasure from now on. He handed one of the photos to Jahan. Jahan looked at the photo and turned completely red. Seriously, anything can become your treasure, can't it? Come on, let's go ride the Ferris wheel. After a long walk, they finally got on the Ferris wheel. Jahan felt himself finally starting to relax, and she was still staring at the photo with a dopey grin. Jahan looked at her. Is that photo really that great? You're that into it. Xixi nodded like crazy. Absolutely love it. It's a photo I took with Jahan, and it's a gift from her, so I'm even happier. Jahan was at a loss for words for a moment. He sat quietly for a bit, then suddenly asked, Wen Xixi, why do you like me? No matter how hard I think about it, I just actually had the nerve to suggest we share you with someone else. What's good about someone like me? Xixi smiled. So you know you can be a handful, huh? The moment I fell for you, it probably doesn't even register as anything special to you. Since I was a kid, I always had a hard time connecting with people. I was scared of being around others, so I got used to hiding behind my glasses. Once my face was covered, people stopped staring at me, and nobody would make eye contact with me. I basically became someone everyone avoided. Being alone actually felt more comfortable. I didn't even feel lonely or sad. But all of that changed when I met you. Everyone else looked right through me, kept their distance. But you came to me on your own. Jahan, you were the first person who didn't laugh at me, who just naturally looked me in the eye and smiled at me. Every moment I spend with you feels precious to me. I never thought I'd fall in love with anyone. But now I think about being by your side every single day. I'm just chasing what my heart wants. That's all. So Jahan, do what feels right for you too. Turn me down, push me away, whatever you need. As long as I can stay close to you, I'll wait as long as it takes. Jiahan, I love you. After cooking together, you got a shower together, obviously. After hearing Xishi's heartfelt confession, there's no way you couldn't be moved. Xishi's heart was racing after he said it too. He reached out and gently touched Jiahan's face. Jiahan's face was burning up. Why do you keep staring at me like that? Xishi answered with actions instead of words. After the kiss ended, Jiahan couldn't quite let go. When Xishi, stay over tonight, leave in the morning.
I'm bummed I can't show any clips here. But this part is seriously so good. It's that thing where you're crazy about someone and everything about them just does it for you. Let me tell you about one detail that really got me. Qishi is a total homebody, but he's got a great body. Jiahan asked him why. Qishi said every time he thought about Jihan, he'd go hit the gym. Jiahan said, well, looking at your body now, you must have been thinking about me all day, huh? Yeah, so what? Oh my god, that is the purest romance. And when CIC takes off his glasses, the tension is just off the charts. I seriously recommend everyone go watch the original for this part.
The next day, Jihan jolted awake from a nightmare. His head was pounding. He looked down at Qishi, who was still holding him. Qishi was sound asleep, murmuring Jihan's name in his dream. Thinking back to the night before, Qishi had been saying I love you over and over. Jihan felt his face get warm, but flustered or not, it was almost noon. Jihan clamped his legs around Qishi to wake him up. He had a part-time job that afternoon, so he needed to get ready and head out. The moment Qishi heard Jihan was going to work, he immediately asked if he could tag along. Jihan pushed Qishi toward the bathroom. You gotta shower first thing in the morning. Xishi spoke up on his own. It's fine, you go ahead. Aren't you in a rush for work? I'll tidy up the room. Oh, Xishi was just about to head out. Jihan grabbed him. No rush, let's shower together. This ungrateful two-faced jerk Jihan used to call his senpai, and now he's back. And he actually became a big star. Even after all these years, seeing him again completely wrecked Jihan. Today was supposed to be a great day for Jihan, because just yesterday he went to the amusement park with Xishi. They came home and had a big celebratory feast. Even in the shower that morning, things got a little extra. Xishi was in a great mood too. The two of them made a simple breakfast together. While eating, Xishi kept blushing and staring at Jihan. Jihan caught him staring and couldn't help but call him out. Stop staring at me. You trying to waste all your food? But Xishi just laughed shyly. No, I just feel like we're like newlyweds right now. Jihan nearly spit out his food. What are you even talking about? Xishi smiled and reached out to hold Jihan's hand. I just feel really happy. I wish time could just stop right here. Jihan quickly put his hand up to block Xishi's kiss. We're eating, dummy. Wait till after you brush your teeth and then. Knowing Jihan wasn't actually turning him down, Xishi broke into a big happy smile. After breakfast, Xishi walked Jihan all the way to his part-time job. It was a massive filming location. While Jihan looked around, not sure who he was supposed to check in with. Xishi said he'd run to the convenience store real quick, because he wanted to grab Jihan some snacks. After CAC left, Jihan tracked down a crew member to ask, Hi, I'm Jihan, here for the part-time shift. The crew member turned around to look at him. You're the one who got referred, right? I'm a little swamped right now. I'll have someone come show you the ropes. Jihan, right? Just hang tight here for a sec. Jihan nodded and waited. Didn't expect it to be this busy here. Then out of nowhere, a voice from behind, familiar yet distant, called out to him. Oh, Jihan. It's Jihan, right? Man, I've been thinking about you a lot since I came back. Running into you here, I can't believe it. I'm so happy. You've changed so much. You're even more handsome now. It's been forever, Jihan. I've really missed you.
Alright, that's where season 1 wraps up. I seriously did not see the ex coming back at the very end like that. But honestly, after everything he did, there's no forgiving that guy. While Xi and Jianrong are both way better than him in every single way. So I can watch the ex get what's coming to him, please. Come on. I also really hope Jihan gets out of that exy shadow soon. And lives happily ever after with Qi and Jianrong.
You know why a triangle is the most stable shape? Before season 2 drops, let me give you a quick rundown of season 1. Jihan is good-looking, top of his class. Basically the perfect kid every parent brags about. But he figured out pretty early that he was into guys. His first love in high school, Jin Chengbin, was seriously hot. Seemed like a fun, easygoing upperclassman. Turns out he was a total player. He's the one who made Jihan realize he was gay, then turned around and dated girls and dumped him cold. Said he wanted to be an actor and couldn't have any scandals on his record. So after that, Jian shot his heart completely down, strictly hookups, no feelings allowed. Once he got to college, the guy he clicked with most was an upperclassman named Qi Zhengrong. Zhengrong fell for Zha's hand at first sight, and always wanted to take things further. Xiaohan wasn't totally uninterested. But Zhengrong's family was insanely rich. His mom was the classic overbearing type who would literally pay you off to stay away from her son. And she even set up a situation for Zhaihan to catch Zhengrong with a girl. So no matter how many times Zhengrong confessed, Zhen kept her physical and refused to catch feeling. Then fate stepped in one night. Xiaohan got super drunk and accidentally kissed Wenxish, the campus hermit, thinking it was Zhengrong. Shishi had already been secretly crushing her, so now he was convinced Zhahan liked him back and started following him everywhere. At first Zhahan was seriously annoyed by Shishi, because a social butterfly and a total homebody are basically opposites. But then Zhahan stumbled onto something shocking. Underneath that shy, nerdy exterior, Shishi was an absolute bundle. Which was exactly Zhen's type. After dreaming about it for days, Zhahan finally made up his mind. Just hook up with him once, get it out of his system and move on. But when something's that good, how do you stop at once? And our boy Jaihan is a total glutton. So he pulled Jinrong into the mix too. Even though both Jinrong and Qixu wanted to be Jihan's one and only, how could either of them say no when Jihan wanted them both? So the three of them started hanging out regularly, at home, on campus, everywhere. They were all having a good time, but Qixi and Jinrong still couldn't stand each other. I mean, they were rivals after all. Jinrong threw out Qixi's flash drive with his group project on it. But Qixi had already made 4 backup copies. And he even added Jihan's name to the project, so Jihan got credit for doing nothing. Round 1 goes to Qixi, but later Qixi and Jinrong got into it and bumped right into Jihan, spilling coffee all over him and smashing his phone. Rich boy Jinrong immediately took Jihan out for new clothes and a new phone, and snuck in a little fun in the fitting room while they were at it. Seemed like things were finally going somewhere. But then his mom showed up and ruined everything again. The second Jihan saw Jinrong's mom, his mood turned. And on top of that, his landlord announced a rank. Everything was going wrong at once. Xiangrong suggested Jiahan just move in with him. But Zaihan didn't want to be dependent on anyone and decided to get a part-time job. So Jinrong hooked him up with Wang. Xixi noticed Jiahan had been in a funk lately, so he took him on a date to an amusement park. They had a blast all day. Took a photo booth strip, rode the Ferris wheel. At the top of the Ferris wheel, Xixi poured his heart out to Jiahan, and Jiahan started catching feelings again. So he took Xixi home, and they spent the night together. Xixi was over the moon. It felt like honeymoon bliss. He even offered to walk Jiahan to his part-time job. But while Xixi stepped out to grab Jiahan some snacks, Zaihan ran into his ex, Jin Changbin, right there on the film set.
And that's where season 1 ends. Looks like Jin Changbin actually made it as an actor. My response: get lost. Not sure what the author has planned, but I'm really hoping this doesn't turn into a drama where one guy loses out. I saw the official merch with all 3 of them together at a wedding, and honestly, I'm feeling hopeful. Please don't let me down. Because I genuinely love both Xixi and Zhurong. All 3 of them being happy together is all that matters.
5 years later, and she's face to face with her deadbeat ex again. And on top of that, he's become a famous actor. Looking at Changbin's face, so familiar yet so distant, Zaihan felt like she couldn't breathe. What were the odds she'd run into him at her part-time job? The moment Changbin spotted her, he walked straight over. Zaihan, I've missed you so much. It's been 5 years, hasn't it? I've been racking my brain trying to figure out how to reach you. You changed your number and moved without telling anyone. But running into each other here feels like fate, doesn't it? I've been building my career overseas all these years. I know you never cared much about celebrity, but I've made quite a name for myself now. Changbin reached out and touched Zaihan's cheek. Zaihan, are you nervous? Zaihan flinched at his touch, yanked his hand away, and turned and walked off quickly. Changbin watched her go, lost in thought. Zaihan made it outside and crouched down, completely drained. All she could hear were the cruel words Changbin had thrown at her when they broke up. She thought she'd never have to see him again. God, she just wanted to run. If she'd known Changbin would be there, she never would have insisted on getting a part-time job to pay her own way. She should have just agreed to move in with Jinrong. Honestly, when Jinrong first brought up living together, part of her was tempted. But then everything that happened came flooding back, and she just couldn't feel safe. Why did the past always have such a hold on her? Why did bad things always seem to pile on one after another? Zaihan was right at her breaking point. Then a hand gently covered hers. Thinking it was Changbin, she immediately pulled away. But it was Xixi. Zaihan, what are you doing out here? Are you okay? Zaihan was shaking all over and threw arms around Xixi. Xixi wasn't sure what to do. He gently patted her back and said softly, Hey, why are you trembling like this? If you're worn out, just go home. I'll cover the rest of the shit for you. Zaihan held on tight, leaning against his shoulder for a long time, and slowly felt herself start to calm down. Thank God she still had Wen Xixi by her side. Here we go, the ultimate awkward showdown between the ex and the new guy. One's the scummy ex-husband and the other's the sweet, devoted new boy.
Jinrong, over the mountain. When are you ever coming back? You're the one who set this whole thing up, and now the love triangle is missing a player.
Zaihan ran into Chanda Bin on set again and totally bowled him. Lucky for her, Xixi was right there to calm her down. Zhou felt herself starting to breathe again. She didn't do anything wrong. So why should she be the one running away? Jihan decided to suck it up and go back to face work and face Changbin. That was the plan anyway. But the moment she was back on set, the nerves hit her all over again. Zaihan reached over and grabbed Xixi's hand, took a deep breath. Then a crew member came looking for him right then, and he had to let go of Xixi's hand and say a quick goodbye. Xixi watched Jihan disappear into the crowd, lost in thought. Something just felt off. The crew member led Jihan over to the production support area. Out of nowhere, Changbin spotted Jihan from across the set, then walked straight over to claim her. Assign Jihan to my team. She'll be working with me from now on. Jiahan's brow furrowed. What the heck is Jin Changbin thinking? Changbin just flashed a small smile and turned to the crew member. It's not like I'm asking her to do anything crazy. Just basic errands. Stuff any newbie could handle. I can't keep bugging my manager for every little thing. Having a dedicated assistant would just make life a lot easier. The crew member looked uncomfortable. Changbin, I don't think that's going to work. We're already short-staffed, that's why we brought on part-timers in the first place. If you pull her away, it really puts us in a tough spot. Just as both sides were digging in, a steady voice came from behind them. Can I take over as the dedicated assistant in her place? Zaihan spun around in disbelief. That voice, it was Xixi. Xixi looked at them both, dead serious. I'll take Zaihan's part-time shift. No pay needed, that's fine with me. If it works for everyone, please let me join the team. She had dumped her ex without looking back. So why was she back trying to get in her life again? Just for the moment she saw Songbin walking toward her, she went completely stiff. Songbin just smiled and stepped right up to her. You made it home safe yesterday, right? Wait, don't be so formal with me. Or call me Xiangbin like before. You can drop the formalities, it's fine. Out of nowhere, Hui Xiao materialized beside them with a chilling remark. Does that mean I can be informal too? Xiangbin looked up and sized Hui Xiao up. Jihan just wanted to get out of there fast, so she grabbed Hai Xiao and started to leave. But Xiangbin wasn't letting her go that easy. He grabbed her arm and pulled her back. Where do you think you're going? You're supposed to be working with me. Jihan was about to refuse. Hui Xiao pulled her into his arms then said to Xiangbin, sorry, we've got somewhere to be in a bit. Catch you later. Jihan blinked, surprised to see this side of the usually soft and sweet Hui Xiao. Xiangbin watched the two of them walk away, and suddenly noticed a little hickey on Jihan's neck. He paused for a sec, then let out a cold bitter laugh. Jihan, how could you downgrade to someone like that as my replacement?
Oh my god, I cannot with this ex of hers. He's the one who dumped Zha Han cold. And now that she's moved on, he's got the nerve to be upset seriously. He's lucky he ran into Hui Xiao, who's actually chill. Because if it had been Jin Rong, he'd be eating a fish trap.
Xiao pulled Jihan into a storage room. Jihan tried to get her nerves all over the place. Why did Xiangbin have to pull that stunt in front of Hui Xiao? It was so awkward. Hui Xiao turned around and asked, Jihan, did something happen between you and that? In front of his sweetheart, he's all sunshine and golden retriever energy. But underneath that, he's cold, calculating, and a little dark. That kind of contrast hits different. You know what I mean. The tension between these three is off the chart. Xi can tell something's off between Zhai Han and Cheng Bing. He pulls Jihan into the storage room for a private word. Did something happen between you two? Zhai Han doesn't want to make it a whole thing. Besides, he can't even stand looking at Jing Chengbin right now. So he just tells Xi he's an old schoolmate from back in the day. Obviously, that excuse isn't convincing anyone. But Xi lets it slide on the surface, giving Zhihan a way out. He puts on his old clueless, goofy eye nothing, and Jihan actually breathes a sigh of relief. Just as Xi is so furious he's practically grinding his teeth to dust. The two head back to the set, ready to get to work. Chenbin makes a beeline for Jihan and throws his arm around her. Then he decides to get in Xi's face. I'm taking Jihan with me. Because from here on out, he's mine. Chenbin dragged Jihan right onto the filming set. Now Jihan wants to push back, but he realizes Chenbin did this on purpose, right in front of everyone. He put him in a spot where making a scene would only make things worse. Chenbin touches his own lips, saying the kissing scene smudged his lip color. Then he grabs Jihan's hand and makes him wipe it off. Jihan is cursing him out in his head. This guy used to say dating another man would ruin his acting career. And now he's pulling this flirty stunt right in front of everybody. What is his deal? The second he's done, Jihan spins around looking for Xixia. What if he saw that and got the wrong idea? He spots Xi in the distance moving some equipment. 这还来笑性 relief. 反搞了一点西的. Bing notices how fate-sided Jihan is on Xixi. Then he thinks about that little hickey on his neck, and the angrier he gets. He wraps his arm around Jihan and squeezes his waist just to mess with her. Aihan struggles to pull away. Everyone on set is staring at them now. Bing says with a grin, Jihan, relax, everyone's watching us. Don't mind us, everyone. I just got so excited seeing Jihan again after so long, I couldn't help pulling a little prank. You're not actually mad, are you, Jihan? The ex actually tried to force a kiss to get back together, but her man swooped right in and carried her away. Then he dropped some hard truth on the ex. Jihan is done with you. Got it. Can't get enough of watching a scumbag get put in his place. Shan Bing kept pestering Jihan all through the workday. First dragging him over to wipe her mouth, then playing buddy-buddy and hanging all over him. When filming a kiss scene with his co-star, he even put on this whole lovesick act. Made a point of telling everyone it reminded him of his first kiss in high school. Shaihan was totally rattled by Chang Bing's games. Good thing Xixi was right there by her side. Xixi quietly glanced around. Once he was sure nobody was looking, he slipped his hand into Jihan's, then gave her this big goofy grip. Jihan turned red. The two of them held on tight. Shaihan ran her fingers over Xixi's palm. His fingertips were all roughed up. He'd clearly been put through the ringer doing all kind of stuff. Shaihan felt her heart ache and laced her fingers through his, holding on tight. Xixi blushed. He grabbed Jihan's hand and traced into her palms. I'm fine, don't worry. Then drew a little heart. Jihan melted. All that irritation she'd been carrying just faded away. What would she even do without Xixi around? During the break, Xixi got called away to handle something. Jihan overheard Chen Bing tell the crew he was stepping out for some air. So she quietly followed him, wanting to have it out with him once and for all. Chen Bing smiled. Zhehan, you don't even call me by my name anymore. Ha! Zaihan was completely speechless. Just seeing your face makes me sick. Don't you have any shame? Chen Bing reached out and grabbed Zhehan's hand. I know I hurt you, but can you at least give me a shot to make it right? Let's start over. Nobody gets me like you do. Jihan 傻挺酱都已经包点泡了夹起. I have zero interest in going back to what we had. Let's just act like strangers. Because I want nothing to do with you, ever. Chen Bing kept going. The fact that you're this fired up just proves you still have reaction on your face says you're not over me at all. So who's that guy hanging around you? He's not your boyfriend, is he? He kind of looks like me though. You're keeping him around because you still can't let me go, aren't you? Stop being delusional. He is nothing like you. But Chen Bing grabbed her hand and pulled her right into him. Why settle for a knockoff when you could have the real thing? Why not just come back to me? Or just as things were about to go too far, Zhehan was suddenly swept away. Bad Bai called the whole thing and couldn't hold back anymore. He stepped in to make his claim. Jaihan is done with you. You got that? I don't care if you see me as his stand-in. As long as I get to stay by your side, that's enough. Hearing Xixi say that, Jaihan was genuinely moved. He had never thought of Xixi as Changbing's replacement, but Xixi liked him so much she was willing to be a stand-in. After Xixi pulled Zhihan away from Changbin, she couldn't help back. Well, Jaihan, what's the deal with that guy? Jaihan tried to brush it off and say he was just a regular upperclassman. But Xixi looked down and said, stop lying to me. I heard everything. Were you two together? Jaihan looked down, unable to meet her eyes. Back in high school, he wasn't just an upperclassman. He was my ex. Xixi thought for a moment, then asked, so when you said you didn't want to open your heart to anyone again, was that because of him? Jaihan still didn't look up. Even if you know, what difference does it make? Xixi then let out an awkward little laugh. Oh, is that right? Jaihan couldn't bring himself to look at Qixi's face. He never imagined opening up like this. Confessing about someone he had loved deeply, someone who had left him completely broke. What kind of expression would Qixi have hearing all this? To his surprise, Kaishi smiled and said, maybe I can't change any of that. But whatever you've been through, Jaihan, well, my feelings for you aren't going anywhere. So at least around me, you don't have to hold back so much. I like you. Simple as that. This is all me anyway. I got jealous and started crying. I do look a lot like that guy. Which just means I'm exactly Jaihan's type. If it gets me closer to you, I'll use that to my advantage. Drama just keeps piling on. Jianrong got all dressed up today. Planning to surprise Zhihan after work. She showed up at the studio all excited, only to spot Qixi standing right behind Zhihan. That guy had been sneaking around Zhihan the whole time she was gone.
Come on, Jianrong, don't be jealous of the guy. Your real job right now is teaming up with Jaihan to take down that ex. You missed a few episodes and everything went sideways, you know that.
Jianrong walked straight up and grabbed Zhihan's hand, pulling him toward the car. That lunatic actually followed you all the way here. It makes me so mad. What is his deal? Why does he keep getting in between us? Jaihan had just been saved by Xixi from the ex. Hearing Jianrong talk about him like that didn't sit right with him. Don't talk about him like that. It's not like we're even a couple. You come from money. I have nothing. Honestly, we're the ones who don't belong together. Jianrong figured Zhihan was just being his usual sharp-tongued self. So she tried to calm him down. There you go again saying stuff like that. I just don't want him stalking you around. But Jaihan was completely serious. Whatever happens between him and me is my business. If I didn't want to work with him, I would have said no. Do you know what Wen Qixi told the crew? He said he'd work for free, just to be around me. He said no job is too hard or too exhausting if it means being worked. He's 1,000 times better than either of us. Jaihan's reaction left Jianrong stunned. He had never acted like this before Xie showed up. It's all that guy's fault. Even though she was angry, Jianrong still opened the car door for Jaihan. Next week I'll have them fire that kid. Then Zhihan said he wanted to bring Xixi along. He came here for me. If you're not bringing him, I'm not going with you. Because he can't let either one of them go. Jianrong came to pick Zhihan up from work. But Jaihan wanted Qixi to ride with him. Jianrong was totally against it. But to make Jaihan happy, he had no choice but to go along with it. As they drove, Jianrong got more and more annoyed. When they got close to Jaihan's place, Jianrong pulled over. He turned to Xixi and said, if you have any sense at all, you'll get out now. Zhihan and I need to talk. Don't tell me you actually expect me to drive you home. Xixi didn't say a word. It was Zhihan who spoke up first. We're near my place. I'll just get out here. Thanks for the ride. But Jianrong reached out and grabbed. You're not going anywhere. I'm not done talking to you. Wen Xiaxie, get out of the car. Xixi shot back coldly no. Jianrong's jaw tightened. Oh yeah, fine, you can sit there and watch all you want. Jianrong pulled Zhihan close by the neck and kissed him. Xixi couldn't take it. He shoved Jianrong away. But Jianrong grabbed him hard by the collar. Are you done throwing your little tantrum? Jianrong quickly grabbed him and shoved Xixi back with his other hand. I told you to get out, or I'll go all the way with Jihan right here in front of you. Jihan turned and gave Xixi an apologetic look. Head home for now. I'll come find you later. Xixi stayed silent. He reached over and shoved Jianrong's smug face aside, leaned in close to Zhihan and kissed him. I'll be waiting. You better reach out to me. How did he end up ahead of her? Because he fought and pushed his way in. Jianrong watched Qixi and Chan acting all cozy together, and it drove her crazy. Why are you two acting like you're a couple? Anyone who didn't know better would think I'm the third wheel here. Snapped back at her. What is your problem? You've been acting out ever since we got here. Jianrong slammed a hand against the car window, pinging in place. You're the one who's been acting out. Didn't you say you were never going to see him again? Didn't you say you were done with relationship? So what does that make me? I've been quietly by your side for years, respecting your wishes. So I mean nothing to you. Jaihan went silent. Jianrong gently reached up and kissed her face. Babe, I could tell you were in a bad mood today. So I let it slide and let that guy ride in my car. But if you keep treating him differently than you treat me, where does that leave my feelings? I came all the way here just to see you. You've been so slammed at work lately, I haven't been able to catch you. That's why I showed up today. Even just a few minutes. I just needed to see your face. Jaihan looked into Jianrong's deep, adoring eyes and saw a reflection of her old self. She used to be just like that, waiting desperately for someone who never came. How did she end up back here? She had made up her mind to stay out of relationships. And yet here she was, torn between Xixi and Jianrong. It felt like everything changed the moment Xixi showed up.
I'm sorry.
I'm just exhausted. I can't think straight. Jianrong gently ruffled her hair. It's okay. You can take it out on me all you want. Just stop doing things that give that guy the wrong idea. Jianrong leaned in and kissed Zhihan, then felt his lips down her neck. Xixi saw every bit of it from outside the car. He clenched his fist and walked away. He had it calmly. Lin Zhihan for staying out for days, ignoring the rules and doing whatever he wanted. Xixi said nothing and went straight to his room. He lay in bed going over everything that had happened recently. Jia Han's ex showing up out of nowhere. And Qi Zhenrong, the guy who'd always been in his way. And she balled his hand into a fist. She's mine. Jia Han, she can only be mine. The two of them argue every single day about who Jia Han likes more. Jia Han is completely over it. Don't they ever get tired of fighting about this? The moment Zhihan got to school, Xi and Zhenrong were already pulling him in two directions. Zhenrong snapped at Qi Xueyi. This is all your fault, you totally blew my plan. I was going to pick Jia Han up from work yesterday. Have a nice romantic night, just the two of us. And you ruined the whole thing. Xi shot right back. I was doing that for Jia Han. When he was running himself into the ground, you weren't even there for him. So who are you to call me out? That hit a nerve. Jianrong pointed a finger at him. I'm all Jia Han needs, I got it covered. Starting next week, you are banned from the studio. Jia Han couldn't hold back anymore. Enough. If you're gonna keep this up. Well then I'm done. That was exactly what Zhenrong was hoping to hear. Perfect timing. Once you quit, just pack up that disaster of an apartment and move in with me. Qixi looked surprised and asked, disaster of an apartment? Han, is something wrong with your place? Jia Han was about to explain, but Zhenrong couldn't resist jumping in with a D. And you call yourself someone who helps Zhihan? What exactly can you do for him? Look at the way you dress. You look like you shot out of a dumpster. You got a house, a car, anything before you even talk about helping someone. Maybe check if you're actually in a position to do it. If you were any use to him, don't you think Zhihan would have told you? He's only still at this job because he pushed back and I let him keep it. Otherwise I'd have had him quit and move in with me already. But Jing, what can you actually do for him? 两个公正在为了Zhihan更喜欢谁闹得不可开交。While the two of them were going at it, fighting over who Zhihan likes more. Earlier Zhang could afford the rent increase and didn't want to move in with Jianrong. So Jianrong went out of his way to hook Zhihan up with a part-time job. But he never told Xixi about it. Jianrong jumped on the chance to rub it in Xixi's face that he was broke and couldn't do anything to help Zhihan. Zhihan quickly jumped in to explain. I wasn't trying to only tell Jianrong. And we're not moving in together either. He just happened to be right next to me when the landlord called. Don't read into it. Halfway through, Zhihan caught herself and realized what she was doing. Why was she in such a rush to explain herself to Xi? Xixi just smiled. Yi Cifan, I know there's not much I can do for you, but if you ever need anything, my door is always open. Jianrong saw Xixi pulling that whole devoted and sincere acting guy all over again. Oh, that drives me crazy. Who do you think you are? The two of them were at each other's throats again. Han shook her head and walked off on her own. Seriously, they're not kids. Where are these two gonna grow up? Him pulled out her phone and shot them both a message. I'm out. You two do whatever you want. Jianrong called her right away. Jiahan hung up. Then her phone rang again, but it wasn't Zhenrong this time. And then she heard a voice right in front of her. Why didn't you answer? You knew it was me calling. It was Jin Chenbin. That's exactly why I didn't pick up. Chenbin slowly stepped closer. There are people who'd kill just to get my number. And you can't even bother to reply to a text. You really want nothing to do with me.